Just as the leaves are changing, indicating the change of season, there's a change happening around the world.
Our family drove 1,300 miles north to Washington, D.C. and Wall Street, where some of the people driving this change are gathering.
This is some of what the people there are saying.
I'm one of the core organizers of the October 2011 movement. It really came out of my work for single-payer health care, and during the health reform process I served as Congressional Fellow for Physicians for National Health Program, and that's where I saw up close that policy is not made on the basis of evidence or public interest, and that it was going to take a broad, independent social movement to change things.
I'm here because of the corporate control of our government.
I'm here because nothing else has worked to break the corporate hold on our government.
I'm here because I believe that the banks should be held accountable for what they've done, and I don't believe after giving them almost $1 trillion in bailout money, I don't think that we should let them go back to the way things were for the past 30 years.
I'm here on occupied Wall Street to say that our priorities of the society are so crazy that I have a vision of what a society can be. A vision of health care for all, education for all, jobs for all, and they say there's no money for this, which is the most absurd proposition. And people, this is what Wall Street, the Occupy Wall Street's all about. This is what it's all about. People opening up their eyes and seeing the lies that have been told to us, the lies that there is not money in this country for human needs and for social needs.
I'm here because I am definitely one of the 99%. I'm college educated, I'm unemployed, many other people like me are as well, but that's really just the symptom of the problem.
We see this all as very much connected to the wealth disparity and the oligarchy that dominates governments around the world.
The lie is that there is no money in this country. The lie is that we have to cut taxes for the rich. That's a lie. It doesn't work, and it's trickle-down theory that is a lie, and the people that have the money, the 1%, are laughing at us. They're laughing at us when they say trickle down. Nonsense. Where does it go? It goes to their bank accounts, it goes to their mansions, it goes to their houses, it goes to their luxuries.
We're told that we don't have the money to meet our human needs. That's a lie. We do have the resources in this country to meet our human needs, and cutting back on our military spending would be a huge step in that direction.
50 years ago, President Dwight Eisenhower warned about the military-industrial complex growing control of the political process. And today, they make them look like amateurs 50 years ago.
Military spending currently makes up 55% of federal discretionary spending. We've seen record military budgets since all of this century.
Military spending, it's over $700 billion. The budget's getting bigger every year. Whenever you hear the term, I got to consult with my generals on what to do, that's just code that that the military-industrial complex runs the decisions that the generals make, and if it's profitable, they're gonna continue the killing and the maiming, and if there was no profit in it, then you'd see a more peaceful world.
We spend more than other nations, many of the other nations combined. It's stretching us thin. We see this president continuing. I mean, going into Libya without congressional support, now going into Uganda. I mean, this is just outrageous.
It shows the dysfunction of government that they can't even cut weapons programs that the military doesn't even want. The military says they don't need it, but then corporations that are profiting from it say we want to keep the money coming, and they keep the money coming.
The story that people are being told in this country is the wrong story. We're told that we have to do these things to protect ourselves from terrorists. That's a lie.
Corporate media has put a stranglehold on the public lobbying process.
Another really important arm is having independent media such as yours. I'm so glad that you're here. When we started planning October 2011, we didn't go to the corporate media initially. We wanted to build up a very strong base of independent media outlets that were part of this and covering it, in part because we wanted the corporate media, if they do cover this, to know that the truth is going to be out there, that they can't get away with lying about what this is because we have so many other eyes on this.
When we talk about ending corporate rule as our goal, not only does that mean ending corporate corruption of government, but also means ending the fact that a half dozen TV station networks control the news.
The people who have independent means to media, both through video and through Facebook and MySpace, are spreading the message that we're angry and we're not going to take it anymore.
Wolf, wolf, wolf for Shakalaka Zulu. A wolf, wolf, wolf for Shakalaka Zulu.
The way that we see this going is using nonviolent tactics, is that you have to weaken the pillars that hold this current system up. And there's about 9 or 10 different pillars, and one of them is the media. And what we need to do is make that media irrelevant. If more and more people are already turning away from the corporate media, they see that its message is they're not giving the full picture, that they're only representing their corporate interests, that they're actually misleading people, causing them to act against their own best interests. So we need to put all of our energy into building this independent media to make that media totally irrelevant.
Corporations, people, that's absurd. The Supreme Court decision about corporations is probably the worst decision since the Dred Scott case. You know what the Dred Scott case was? That legalized slavery.
Corporations are not people, and we need to. There's a constitutional amendment suggested that we support that would end corporate personhood. I think that's one of the major steps we need to take.
Until that happens, then you're not going to get corruption out of politics.
I worked for Obama for 8 months. I am so disappointed and unsatisfied with Obama. Everything he promised, everything he said, he compromised on, and we don't even know where he stands. I'm a little bit ashamed to say that I actually voted in support of him.
He was the new king, and we had to fall on our knees and worship him, and everything he did was great. And I said, I think you guys are drinking the Kool-Aid.
It's especially hard for me because I was living in Chicago on election night, and I was in Grant Park. I was in a tree. I had climbed a tree to watch the speeches over the crowds in Grant Park on election night, and it was one of the most memorable events of my life to be there. And I thought I was there watching history change, and to find out that, the more it changes, the more it stays the same, has been very disheartening.
I feel bad criticizing him because I think he's very likable. I would like to hang out with him and play basketball with him and drink beer, but I think he has not been a good liberal president, and then worse, I don't think he's been a good president at all.
President Obama has been a Wall Street Democrat. Rather than prosecuting people from Wall Street who collapsed the economy, he put them in his administration. His health bill, rather than challenging the insurance industry, further entrenched it. His financial reform didn't break up the big banks. In fact, they've gotten bigger. It didn't regulate derivatives sufficiently. It didn't bring back Glass-Steagall. So on every issue, he's put forward a corporatist solution rather than a solution that meets the necessities of the people.
There's been kind of a betrayal of people that elected him.
I think he's a very aggressive commander-in-chief. He has got us involved in more war quagmires. He's been very aggressive in using assassination, which used to be something that was considered illegal. But now with drones especially, he's targeting individuals. He's targeted an American citizen successfully who's living abroad. So he started more wars and has gotten involved in more war quagmires. He's reduced record military budgets every year, record intelligence budgets every year, record homeland security budgets every year, and he's had record arms sales. When he submitted a budget to Congress, he said that military and intelligence and security were off the table. That makes up 66% of the budget, and so everything else will get cut or held back significantly as a result.
A betrayal like that could be a good thing, because it makes people think, well, if he won't help us, then who's going to help us?
Wall Street runs the White House runs Congress, Wall Street runs the Supreme Court. None of them function in the interest of the public. They funnel wealth to the top. That's what their policies do. So it's not about who's in the White House. It's about what do we do to change that system.
Democrats are not the answer. If you just think, oh, I hate the Republicans so much, so every 4 years, I'm going to get really excited and go vote for the Democrats. Well, you're not really achieving anything.
Been able to get away with this lesser evil thing. We see it coming out stronger, and next year it's going to be in full force. But I'm already getting phone calls about this. We can't let the Republicans get in because then they'll really destroy the country. that works. It ties up that Democratic base, so they know they can take that base for granted. Democrats can do whatever they want and get away with it. They've got enough money to spin the message and fool people, you know, as it gets closer and closer to election time. So I have a big sticker on my computer. It says, "The lesser of two evils is still evil."
I wouldn't expect the Democratic Party to listen to this movement any more specifically than any other political party. It's not a political movement, it's a social one.
I have more faith in young people than I do in anybody else. It's the young people that are going to change this country. That's why Occupy Wall Street is so important. It's the young people. Finally, I've been waiting. I'm a child of the 60s. I know what the young people did in the 60s, and now I know the young people now. How long I've been waiting for you. It's like a dream come true to see the young people now, finally, understanding the way this system works and fighting back.
I think young people should voice their opinions and show these people that, you know, we don't agree with what's going on right now. We want change.
When we started organizing this particular action 6 months ago, we never dreamed there would be a whole Occupy movement. So it's both very exciting that this has come up, and it really speaks to that this is the time. But I think that we have to be very careful that the movement goes in a productive direction, and to me that means that it's independent, nonviolent, that it's broad-based, ties all the issues together, and that we don't allow organizations to come in and co-opt us into doing electoral work too soon. I think that would be a death blow to any progress that we could make.
I say occupy the whole world. I say occupy everything. Occupy Brooklyn. Occupy every place you can get. Occupy your factories, your schools. Make sure that the system changes.
I think it is possible to be militant and yet nonviolent. I think I'm militant. Militancy means persistent, to be demanding, to be insistent. And I think it's possible to be militantly nonviolent. And these, I think, are going to be the leaders who will lead us through this very tense period of transition.